Crystal family, welcome to today's spirituality retreat for this new moon in Aquarius of February 2022. My name is Crystal Ramirez and I am a health and wellness expert and also a wellness coach, and I am the owner of Body, Mind and Spirit, which is my health and wellness brand. Health and wellness is a huge part of who I am, and it's been my lifestyle for as long as I can remember. It's what helps me to stay healthy, vibrant, full of joy and energy, positive energy, high vibrations. And so today with our spirituality retreat, which is a two-part event, we begin with our spiritual talk where we talk about the energy, even bring in a little bit of astrology because we are talking about the moon cycle and how it's going to affect us for the next 2 weeks. And then we end with a short but sweet and very effective, deep Sambo healing session to help us cleanse our aura. This is for purification, this is spiritual maintenance, and I really suggest you watch to the end to get the benefit of today's retreat. So let's begin by talking about today's energy. You know, we're also celebrating today the start of a new Chinese New Year. So this is big because this is the year of the water tiger. We just ended in Chinese astrology the year of the ox. So I feel like with the year of the ox, which was all 2021, has been a lot about, you know, trying to get things done, having these big visions, these big dreams, but still there being blocks in the universe, right, energetically. And now with the water tiger, which brings in more emotion, but it also brings in more flow. So it's like those blocks have been literally burst open and broken. Even like when you see a huge river that's coming with its fullest, strongest force at you, right, or at the rocks, a lot of water has a lot of power, because I'm really thinking of like a strong river like the Nile River. Even I'm bringing even Egypt here, because a lot of water, we underestimate the power of water. And if we're going to bring in astrology as well, this is the water element. And I can tell you that I really relate because I have a lot of water in my chart, in my astrology chart. I'm mostly water. I only have my main sign, my sun sign, Earth, to kind of keep me grounded. But if it weren't for that, I would be very floaty, right? So this water energy that's coming in for 2022, and especially for these next 2 weeks, which is the beginning of this energy, is gonna bring in a lot of unexpected opportunities, turns, openings, because that's what it's bringing in. It's bringing in the opening by bursting through those blocks, like even breaking bridges that were once there, perhaps to block connections or block you towards a path, or maybe just finding that missing piece to a project, a situation, maybe finding the answer to a doubt that you had in your mind. And Aquarius, ironically, is also about thinking outside the box, and this is what's going to help us to kind of break the code. That's kind of like what I wanted to spill out. Break the code of what we've been searching for a long time in every area of our life. Okay, this is lifestyle. These are big areas of our life. Love and relationships is huge this year when it comes especially to the spiritual mission. This is the year of spiritual mission. I talked about this in my Light with the University motivational speech, and this is what this whole year is about. It is the year of 22. I've been seeing a lot of synchronicities and numbers lately, like 2222. I've been seeing 222, and those are the numbers of bringing in more balance to create more stability. It's about bringing partnerships, it's about bringing collaboration, even dualities, right? Bringing in people who might be completely different for a same purpose, right? And this is how we bring people together, by thinking outside the box, the group, the stereotype, and not judging people for their cover, right? This is where energetic connection is going to come in more strongly than physical connection, physical attraction, or what you have, your social status, who you know, all of these things that really actually surprisingly and deceivingly determine whether people connect, right? Why people are wanting to know someone or meet someone or be friends with someone. And all of that is washing away literally with this water element, this water tiger energy. and helping us to trust more and create these new solid loyal bonds and even tribes that are going to be for the mission again. And again, Aquarius energy is bringing us a lot of this energy, expanding our circle. Okay, our circles around the world have been very tight, and there's always, you see this everywhere you go, right? There's always niches of people, and then there's of course those outsiders, which I consider myself an outsider because I have multiple interests, you can say. So I have, you know, met lots of people from different circles, and yet I'm not necessarily part of a certain group of any specific circle because I have so many different interests, right? And so if you're like me, which I know there's many people like me, right, that you have just different hobbies that might not even be related, but for you, you have been called to relate it and again bridge it together, right? Because there's always a bridge to why you like certain things, why you're being called to certain things, right? God knows what he's doing when he's trying to blend in these artistic talents. And so this is what we're building this year, starting with this new Chinese year of the water tiger. And we're going to start to expand our circle. We're going to start to become part of groups as well that is going to be very out of the blue, out of nowhere, right? And it's going to be for, again, the purpose of what God brought us here to do, the divine plan, bringing people together to build together, to collaborate, and to make things happen. Because at the end of the day, we can't do things alone. And this is a lesson that we've been learning these past 2 years, especially even more before, if you've already started your mission prior, that you can't do it alone because you don't have all the skills at the toppest level, right? You might have basic essential skills, but it doesn't mean that you're the best in every area, right? Like, again, me being here, it doesn't mean I'm the best technician, but I'm great at what I do, which is being here and speaking, right? But of course, out of need, I have to learn these other skills to get me by, to get the job done. And that's, again, what's going to be our incentive, our motivating force, our drive, is to be able to get the things done, but not be afraid or close-minded when it comes to getting help if needed, right? And if you find the appropriate help that resonates with you, that matches your frequency, which is very important, high vibration, and matches the purpose of what you're doing, right? It doesn't have to be like you have even the same philosophy in life, because again, I also want to bring this up, you know, this is not about judging a book by its cover, because again, Aquarius is a lot about people, so we are going to bring in this today. And I've been doing a lot of contemplation. Like, I took the whole last week off from speaking, from filming. I just did like minor creative, you know, like artistic photo shoots, but nothing that required me to really think too much. And in fact, when I do those kind of solid solitude and just silent retreats, you can say, my mind is overactive in analyzing, in contemplating, in thinking, getting messages from God. And this is what I've been getting a lot, is about when you're meeting people, it's not about judging by their cover, because everybody puts up a front, right? Again, social media is the first number one mask that people have, right? And again, it's not necessarily when it's for the mission. Like, let's say you have a business page, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like if you have like just a regular social media that's like your page. A lot of people put up a front of what they really are inside, but it's not really who they are, right? But if it's something that's business related, it's very different, right? Because you're trying to be here an inspiration and you're trying to move the collective towards the light. So that's completely different. We do kind of want to see the page and see what they're about, right? But when it comes to meeting people for the first time, or just meeting people in general, or for relationships and love and dating, because this is a huge factor again this year as well. A lot of people are single or have just come off relationships because, again, karmic cycles are also ending. There's a huge karmic decade that we've gone through, and I want to say the decade has ended like prior to 2020. Everything that's happened after 2020 has been the awakening. That's the fresh new cycle that we're on. But now we're kind of like at the peak of it. Now we are at the really kind of now solidifying and seeing what it's about. Whatever we've been awakened to in 2020, that's when my Lightworker University presentations began, that's when my business began as well. And everything has been in training, everything has been under construction these past 2 years for finally coming out into the light and seeing now what more we can do, how deeper we can go, and how more expansive we can make God's mission work. Because again, this is what God wants. And for all of you who have been getting these revelations these past 2 years, know what I'm talking about and are on the same spiritual page. And this is what needs to be literally verbalized and brought out onto the table, because it can't just stay all in the 5D. It can't stay in the ethereal. There needs to be a moment where we're actually anchoring these visions, these thoughts, these feelings, and these emotions that we've been receiving, whether it's in dream, whether it's just you when you're in meditation, whether it's whatever you do. You've been getting messages from God. You've been getting direction. You've been getting guidance. And now is the time to explore. Aquarius is about exploring as well, right? Kind of like Sagittarius in a way. Exploring, traveling, seeing what it's about, because it's the experimenter. It's the genius energy, right? We're experimenting, but these experiments are not out of nowhere. They're not, it's not like right now you're going to come out with a new experiment. That's over with. And I kind of want to say, I'm sorry to say that, but the experiments have already been visualized. You should have been doing this work. We've been doing a lot of vision work in my Spiritual Counseling TV network these past 2 years. You already know what the project, what the mission, what the experiment is about. You already have done even trials and errors. And now it's about finalizing it. We're at the final stages of this sculpture, this magnificence, this new legacy, this new world that we're building. It's beautiful energy really that's coming through, and it's so beautiful, to be honest, that it might even create this anxiety. You know, I've been feeling this a lot lately, especially during the weekend. It was an exciting energy that's coming through when you just know that something's gonna happen. You know that something's about to change in our life. And again, this is the Chinese New Year. This February is where the change is starting to begin to happen. These are changes that you just feel in your gut, and you're being guided as well to take action. This is not changes that happen without taking the action, and this is physical action. Whatever goals you set for this year, your New Year resolutions, you need to take action. You need to get outside your comfort zone as well. This is huge because all of us have these walls that we put up because of past traumas, right? And this has been healed and done with these past 2 years. This is what we've been doing a lot behind the scenes, a lot in hermit. But again, Aquarius is like the opposite of hermit mode. This is not the time to be in hermit anymore, because that's what will hold you back and is what will set you back from your fullest potential. So we are being guided to get outside our comfort zone, get outside our shell. And again, it's funny because we just come off of a full moon in Cancer, which is all about getting into your shell, right? And I know this strongly because I'm a rising in Cancer, so I can tell you this is a huge part of, you know, sometimes how I feel and one of my struggles. But collectively, this has also been something that's happening, and this even might relate worldwide, right? Remember, everything that's mirrored is mirrored what's happening within as without. And so I feel like we're all starting to become liberated and ready to start this new life. And which path you take towards this new life is again up to you. We all have free will, right? And God is giving us this free will to do as we please. Do you want to go towards your dream, or do you want to stay in something old that's related and similar to past cycles, past patterns, past situations? Do you want to repeat those patterns, or do you want to break free from that? And that's the opportunity that we're actually being given today. It's like this door. I'm seeing like this wooden door, like the emoji in a way. Are you going to open that door? Or are you going to just stay behind and just not explore what could have been? What's on the other side of that door? It could be something beautiful. But if you never try, you'll never know, right? So this is a little bit of what's coming. I know there's a lot more that wants to come through, you know. I feel like this is going to bring a lot of powerful conversations that are going to be revolutionary, right? Coming up with solutions that can only be resolved when done also in group think. You know, we've been thinking a lot solo. And the only problem, as a psychologist, I'm telling you this, and it's happened to me as well, it happens to all of us that we're humans. when we're the only one thinking about a certain thing, it can create a little bit of going in circles. And again, of course, you also always need to be discerning about what topic you want. About that, my camera got disconnected. I'm actually definitely need to get a new camera, but I guess we were done with that cycle of conversation. But what also is coming in with this new one in Aquarius, this Chinese New Year, the water tiger. Again, if we bring in the spirit animal, the power of the spirit animal, which is the beautiful tiger, this is going to bring in a lot of courage to face our fears. It's going to bring in a lot of strength and power. So empowerment to be able to step into our leadership position and do what we need to do, to share the light, to be the light, to spread the light. And with all peoples from across all walks of life, right? This is again the beautiful coming together of, I feel like, a lot of just humanity in general, and it's gonna bring worldwide healing because of, you know, the tragedy that we've all been through since 2020. This is finally, I feel, the starting of the closure of I want to say the tragedy, the loss, because that's brought a lot of grievance in everybody's life individually. People have lost people, and people have also lost themselves, right? Not being able to do necessarily what you really want to do because of restrictions, and maybe feeling a little bit out of your element even. And this Aquarius, I feel like, is jump starting us. And again, it's the start of a Chinese New Year. Chinese is very powerful because that's where all the Zenness came from. Powerful, you know, martial arts, which touches in a lot closely related to yoga, the Buddhist mentality, meditation, which is, of course, you know, I'm huge on that. And this is, I feel like, you know, I think of Chinese and I think of that, the Chinese medicine aspect of it. And when I took my yoga training, my teacher training a couple years back, it was actually with a yoga teacher that was very much into Chinese medicine and herbology. And all of this is going to be coming up. You know, Lao Tzu is also one of my great, I want to say, mentors that I look up to. He has great quotes that teaches us a lot about the Zen mindset and life and how to live more in peace. And again, with all this craziness of this Aquarius energy that might be coming through, which always comes when change is coming, right? Change creates havoc. Change creates even a little bit of an instability because we're trying to restructure our life, our connections, our locations, networking. I'm seeing like an image of like the worldwide media, the World Wide Web, and all these little networks, kind of like even like cells, right? Our cells have all of these little connections that connect the nervous system. I'm thinking of the nervous system, I'm thinking anatomy here. The nervous system, with all these little nerves, we are communicating constantly to all the other organs, all our little cells, the littlest of cells. And that's God, right? God is the controller of the nervous system. And we are all the little nerves on earth. Okay, and then that's what I'm feeling. Like God is controlling us, not controlling us, God is guiding us, you want to say. Because, you know, in the nervous system, there is the involuntary system, parasympathetic system, and the voluntary system, which is the sympathetic system, right? We have voluntary responses and we have involuntary responses. For example, this is a lot of what I teach in my therapy sessions at the Spiritual Counseling TV network. When people have traumas, PTSD, which is something that is coming up, right? Because when things that are so good are staring at you in the face, sometimes it can be a trauma and we block ourselves because it might be too good to be true, right? And we've all had those situations where just situations sometimes are just too good to be true, right? You're like, there must be some kind of trick, there must be something off in this blessing that God is bringing to me, this gift. But God's gift have no fault, have no, what is that word, have just no fault, have no mistake. There is no fault in that product, that gift, that blessing, right? And so again, let's talk about these involuntary responses. So if anyone's feeling nervous or anxious or just in fear, our body can create involuntary responses like spasms, just reactions, right? Attitudes. And this is all what needs to be healed. I guess this is part of the healing aspect, and resolved. And this is what we're going to be doing this year a lot with mental and emotional health and therapy, because our mind, when it's too much in the logical space, again, so this is the healing of those involuntary responses that happens when our mind is overactive, right? And our mind is our logical space. It's more of our masculine energy within us, right? And the feminine energy within us is our intuition, is what we really are feeling when we allow ourselves to surrender. And this is huge, because this is, again, facing and even battling our ego and our higher self. And our higher self really wants to come through these times, because we are also in the age of Aquarius. We are in the beginning stages of that, still climbing towards this peak. And Aquarius energy is all about the higher self. It's all about the spiritual journey. It's all about the evolution, the ascendance, and the transcendence of the old, of the illusion, of the human distortions, which is all ego-based, ego-driven. And all of that is not going to be fulfilling for anybody who is still in that space for the next coming years, for the rest of our lives, because we're stepping now into a lighter vibration, a lighter world. And this is this new world that's being cultivated and is starting to show specks of it. We're starting to get glimpses of it, and it really is magical. It's really, really powerful as well, because when you physically experience these spiritual, when you physically are in these spiritual experiences, right, which is a little bit ironic, because spiritual experiences are supposed to be, hence spiritual, ethereal, 5D and above, right? But when you actually see them, it's like a miracle. That's what a miracle is, right? When you can no longer deny it, because it's in the physical, it's in the actual matrix, even for everyone else to see as well. And this is where God is showing up, because God is wanting to massively awake people who are refusing to wake up, who have stayed asleep, or just who have no direction. And it's so interesting as well, because this weekend I actually met one specific person that I know I was meant to be in their presence that day. You know, God doesn't put you in places without a higher purpose. This was a person, a young person, younger than me, that was actually starting to be curious about the spiritual journey. And again, I'm more advanced, because obviously I've already been doing a lot of this for several years, and I'm now the teacher, right? Of course, we're always learning, but I am a little bit, obviously now I'm more the teacher now to everybody who's awakening, the newbies. And he was a newbie. He was just literally just waking up, you can say, and starting to want to know more. And that's how I started my journey. I had this innate curiosity to just want to know more. And that's what just started the whole thing. And that's what spiraled into my huge awakening, and even developing my spiritual gifts to its fullest potential. And there's just more to come, right? But he was in that stage, and we just had such a great conversation. And the beautiful thing about that is that when a human being is open and curious for their own free will, not forced upon, because nobody can force another person's awakening, that's when it's just so magical to see, because he was so receptive to everything I was saying. And it was just so beautiful, because I didn't have to kind of try to make a point, because he was just receptive, he was accepting, and he was just curious, and he was, I guess you want to say, just like enlightened to want to be more enlightened. He was getting that revealing. So again, follow God's direction, and of course ignore that distraction in the background. Again, this is also going to be related, right? When you're on the spiritual journey, you're going to have to just block out a lot of distractions, because there's always going to be that temptation. But don't let that just disturb you from what I'm saying. Anyways, God will put you where you need to be for a higher reason. You never know whose life you're changing, and you never know who you're inspiring as well, especially if you're in the public eye, especially if you are in the leadership position. You need to be more, I want to say, conscious of this, just basically, and just know that you are being always watched. And even if you're not someone who's famous or a celebrity, you're still being watched by people. You know, when I step out into the world, my aura just itself, just me being a nobody, you can say, I still get a lot of attention. And I know that I always need to be a representative of this love and light of Christ, because this is what I am. And this is what you are too. So that's a beautiful way to begin today's spirituality retreat or spiritual talk. Let me take a little bit of a sip. I'm getting thirsty here. And again, you know, on the other side of the coin, on the other spectrum, I also saw a lot of people that were still in their old habits, right? Like just the same old. You can just feel it in the air, right? I feel a lot of energies, and I'm sensitive to these energies, and I can feel, you know, that actually there's, like, in a large room, I want to say that 85, I was gonna say 80, but I'm being told 85% is still asleep or just not wanting to wake up. They're just not interested, because the 3D fleshy desires and distractions of whether it's drugs, alcohol, again, sex, or just talking just about nonsense is what fulfills them. And again, that is something that you can't force upon people. And it's, again, 100 minus 85 is those minor 15%, that little group that is highly awakened, highly enlightened, and curious to want to continue. And these are these light workers that God is bringing together from around the world. I've actually been saying this for a long time. I can see light bulbs around the world where all these light workers are located. And again, it's a lonely journey, right? The hermit journey, the journey of Buddha, is a very lonely journey. But you need to go through that lonely journey to reach enlightenment. It's just a must. And again, it depends on your purpose. And my purpose has been, at least where I'm at in my life now, to go through that hermit moment. And it's been very lonely. It's been very painful. And I don't want to say depressing, because it's not like depression. It's just a spiritual kind of depression. When you start to see the truth. And again, if you're very smart like myself, a psychologist that can see through everything, sometimes truth hurts. And that's just what you need to kind of swallow and accept when it comes to humanity, when it comes to the world and the world that we're living in right now. But that's no excuse to not live our highest vibrational life in the now, because this will inspire others to want to do the same. And this is something that I am always very conscious of, and I force myself to get in that energy if I don't want to even. You know, like even today, you know, I want to say it was actually very difficult for me to be here today. But as soon as I just started putting on my makeup, I started to get into that energy. It's kind of like I put a mask on, right? You can say when you put on your makeup. But for me, that's what works. And I remember who I am and, you know, what I'm being guided to do. Whether whoever is listening, it even helps me. It helps me when I rewatch these videos, and it helps me to kind of continue to raise my vibration higher and higher, so that every time I step out into the world, I have knowledgeable things to say. You know, I always speak with intention, and I know that I'm always affecting someone's life in a positive way. Like take this example of this weekend. If it wouldn't have been for my journey and what I've been through, I would have not had that conversation with that young man that I had. And who knows what he's up to. Maybe he's watching this video because of course I gave him my contact information, but maybe that changed his life for the better, and maybe that's going to help him to stay on his path, right? Because there's always going to be those little minor cracks in the door where people can slip and return and regress. But again, that's where powerful support systems comes in, so that you can continue to stay laser focused on your path without taking out those side distractions, without opening those doors that don't serve you. Kind of like, think of like, I'm thinking like, you know, like a prostitution house, right? Don't open that door. You don't want to look in there. You don't want to cross in there. Keep going on your heavenly path, which might be lonely because nobody's willing to climb this mountain. It's hard work. It's going to take a lot of energy. It's going to take a lot of breaths. It's going to take a lot of huffing and puffing, sweat, tears, and maybe blood. You might get hurt on the way. You might scrape a knee. You might fall on your elbow. You might hurt your hands. But that's what makes you stronger, right? Because remember, when you get a wound, when you get a cut, the skin over it grows stronger. And that's a lesson, right? Don't be afraid of getting wounded. That's part of the PTSD that we are healing, past traumas. Don't get afraid. Don't be afraid to be hurt again. Because if it happens, that's what's meant to be. Maybe you needed to learn one little lesson more. But if it doesn't happen, then guess what? That's so much better, right? Just don't have any expectations of whether or not you're going to get hurt. Because that's out of our control again. That's all God's plan. What he has for our life. And this is about loving our fate. Fate that we can't change, but only live. And just go through it. Because again, we're gonna go through it anyways, right? The stars are already aligned in their own story. And this is the story that's being revealed. But we're also being reminded that we are also the movie makers of our own story. We can create our own movie by taking those actions, right? Because there's always, like, I feel in our life, a plan B and a plan A and a plan B, right? Like a backup plan. God always has a little bit of a backup plan. Like if something doesn't work out, God will always have something else to bless you with. Whether that's a career opportunity, whether that's in love, right? That's why we are after our life partner. Again, this is something I explained in the love show as well. It doesn't matter, you know, if you're with your spiritual partner, if you're with a soulmate, whatever kind of connection, it's the health of that connection that matters, right? And the purpose that thrives in and fuels it, the mission. And what's going to keep it long lasting for the long term. It's not short term anymore. Aquarius is always thinking long term. This is long term investments. We are now stepping into long term relationships. So no flings at this moment, no dating around. That's not going to fulfill us. If that's something that you want to experiment with, go ahead, because again, you have free will, but it's not going to fulfill you. You're gonna come back to square one, and it's going to be time wasted. So God is reminding us that everything, whether that's even a project as well, a job, don't waste your time on applying for a job that you know is not something you're going to want to do 10 years down the line. Don't waste your time trying to, you know, put more money and investment, like let's say in furniture, in a home that you know you're not going to want to live for the rest of your life. Maybe it's a location that you're living in or whatever it is, right? Don't invest in something that you don't see yourself in 5-10 years down the line, because it's going to be time wasted. And this is not the time to waste. This is not the time to be wasting time, because this is the year of mission, spiritual mission. This is the time to start balancing our life and getting our act together. Everything needs to be in alignment. Your finances, your responsibilities, your ability to be an adult, and be disciplined with your lifestyle. Be loving at the same time, making, again, this balance in your life, especially if you have kids or you have a family to take care of, or you want kids in the future. You need to start acting like it, right? You need to start acting. How would a parent act? How would a husband or wife act? How would you want your partner to act towards you? Be that person first, right? We teach people how to treat us. And that's, you know, decency. That's exactly what being a human, humane is about. Being of service is huge during this time as well. There's a lot of humanitarian energy. A lot of this, what's this word? Just philanthropist, right? Doing things for the world. Like, you know, things that other people might not want to do. Like, I want to say, like, you know, taking care of your environment, ocean cleanups, or just, you know, putting out information that's going to help nature, or just all of us be in this love vibration. You know, everybody has unique gifts. Put it out there and do something with it. So yeah, I think that that's what this energy is about. A lot of overwhelming energy, but it's good overwhelming energy. You remember, when a lot of energy comes in, whether it's good or bad, it can create stress, right? Because that's something that everybody, I guess in therapy, that's what we talk about. Like when we go through life transitions are huge stressful moments in people's life. When you're about to start a new relationship, start a new career, when you just graduated, when you're about to move homes, or you're going to be independent, or you're about to have kids, all of those are major life transitions. And all of that is what's being tested. That's what we're now being thrust into, a new life phase of our story. And this is huge, because this is the next chapter to our life. So this is something to look forward to and not be afraid, but rather be open to it. and just allow God to surprise you. There's a lot of surprises coming in. And I'm the first one to tell you that I do not like surprises, because again, that's just part of me, of how I am. That I always like to kind of know a little bit of what's going to happen. Again, kind of like what I do, I kind of always have a feeling of what's going to happen. But at the end of the day, we never really have the complete picture. Only God does. God always loves to keep some surprises up his sleeves, and that's okay. Let God surprise you. But that's what makes it more magical, right? In that moment. So learn to just let go. Surrender. This water element, the water tiger, is going to really teach us that this year. That what's meant to happen will happen. So we already know that, because if we've ever tried to control something in the past, we already know that nothing ever went our way anyways. So why is it going to be any different now? Let us just trust. Let us just enjoy the moment, be in the now, and live life to our fullest. This is the moment to start this habit of living life to the fullest. Whatever opportunities come your way, of course, being that it's in your vibration, it's in your life path. I'm not telling you to just take any opportunity, because there's always a discernment that needs to come in, right? That's what a light worker does. That's what being on this mission teaches us, is that you need to still be discerning. But if you know in your heart that it's something of light, it's something good, it's something that God is blessing you with, then open yourself to it and just give it a chance. So I'm going to bring in my oracle reading. You already know I love to do oracle readings to just go deeper into the energy, and I have a good feeling today. So I'm going to bring in my crystal tarot first, and then we'll get started with more oracles. Alright, so here I chose 3 special decks for me that are actually very special, because these 2 mermaid oracle cards are actually one of the first one. Actually, it is the first ones that I owned. These are, apart from my angel oracle cards, this is how I learned to be visually able to read oracle, you can say, because I've always been attracted to the artwork of it. I'm a very art kind of visual person, and it brings back memories, but it also is very much what this year is going to be about. It is the mermaid energy, it's the water energy, and even Piscean energy, which is art. A lot of art is going to come this year, which is exciting, because I love everything art, and I've been getting a lot of art ideas that I really want to manifest and put into actual physical reality, right? And this energy is going to help us. The water tiger is going to give us the courage to be able to make it happen, the strength and the power to bring out even the masculine within us and take that action, make it happen, find ways to manifest and anchor in these visions that are out in the clouds, because you know, we need to kind of put it out into the universe, because this is how people also relate. This is how people wake up, is through art. This is what people leave behind. So let's begin with, actually, before the tarot, let's bring in the mermaids and dolphins. And I've been seeing a lot of dolphins. I have an ocean view right here, and I've been seeing dolphins like every day. Dolphins are the playful energy, but it's also the telepathic energy. There's a lot of telepathy, spiritual gifts. I'm hearing telekinesis. Maybe people have that gift. And this is all Aquarian energy, right? These are gifts that are of the higher dimensions that are being now anchored in to us humans, and humanity is evolving with this age of Aquarius. So it's very beautiful, because we've been waiting a long time for this. This is not something that, especially people who have been awakened for a long time, for them it must be like hallelujah, right? Because they've been probably very lonely, but now it's starting to get more open. Everything, look again what I just said, break free. This is so interesting. Try different ventures and experiences as a way to grow and learn. So Aquarian energy here. Breaking free from everything, from old habits, old ways of thinking, the old world, the old matrix. It's done with. It's not going to make you happy. And this is just going into higher vibrational love, spiritual love, because these are spiritual bonds. You know, I've been seeing dolphins in pairs, actually. And these are spiritual bonds that we can even feel across the world if they're not in your area, right? And the waters are bringing us together, right? It's like crossing a water, crossing to the other side of the world to be together. It's very beautiful. And tranquility. What's going to help us are those spa baths, which is a huge thing that I love. And even Spending time near water, salt water, the ocean. I've been taking long walks by the ocean by my house, and it's been so healing. Drink a lot of water. We're gonna need a lot of this hydration. Anything to connect with the water element. We need that. It's essential, especially when you're doing spiritual work. You need to cleanse your chakra, especially your throat chakra. You need that water. If you don't like water, maybe ice, right? Make time to relax, be still, and enjoy your solitude. Indulging in much needed self-care. This is self-care time as well. We might feel alone, but this is about enjoying that solitude, right? We're doing a woman's cozy talk in my spiritual counseling TV network, and this is what's helping women, but it can also help masculines out there. Doing your own thing that's going to help you heal your own kind of self-care, right? The masculine way. But all of us need that. And this is what's going to bring more peace. This is what's going to help us think clearly, take guided action that's not impulsive, but is well thought out. That's very important as well, right? To make wise decisions on our journey. All right, so let's continue now with the Oracle of the Mermaids. I love this deck. There's just beautiful mermaids in here. Wow. At the bottom of the deck, which I actually was thinking this energy, I was thinking about the great breath, how Earth began. It's with the breath. And here we have the air element. And this is breathing deep, entering into life. Like, we've been given life during these times. And we're being given life. We're being kind of like literally jump-started. Just like you jump-start a car that's running low on fuel or the engine is failing. Right? Energetically, that's how many of us could have felt, especially as we were ending this year of the ox. Like we were drained, like we can't go anymore, right? Like we needed just even connection, because Aquarius is all about connection. And if you've been isolated a lot, you can definitely relate to this. And this is the exchange of life-bringing energies. This is what happens when we connect to people that are all on our same vibration, are on the same path. This is how it feels. This is how it looks on a spiritual level. We're giving ourselves air when we feel like we're drowning. That's actually what I channeled for the full moon in Cancer. Because again, that's so interesting how astrology works, right? How it's like perfect. How the energies flow. Every moon cycle, the sign that it's in. Because with the full moon in Cancer that we just had, it was a huge purge. It was like bringing all the worst emotions up in a way, out of nowhere as well. These were triggers out of nowhere that were even just self-triggered. It wasn't anything outside of ourselves. It was self-triggered. Could have been memories. Could have been all this thinking that we were going through. All this contemplation of the past. And we felt like we were drowning in all of that pain. And we've been given life. Maybe it was by your counterpart. Maybe it was just by maybe changing your perspective about a memory, a trauma, or just spending time near people. That heals us. And that's what's happening now with the new moon in Aquarius. That's what's going to start to happen. By spending time around people, we are going to heal. And again, the air element also represents our angels, our spirit guides that are in the air element, guiding us. I've been seeing a lot of this. Our angels are guiding us. God is speaking to us through everybody. And it's just so beautiful to see. There's just no denying it. And again, the more closely connected you are with your angels and your spirit guides, you already just know, right? You don't have to doubt this twice. But for people who are new to the journey, don't be afraid of this. And just kind of surrender to where you're being guided to, the direction you're being asked to go on, the messages you're being given, right? Because we want to go home and we don't really feel like we're home right now. And this is what we're in search of. You know, this is the homeland card, the arrival, a journey ending. But you know what? We're just starting this new journey. And we're finding our true home, our true establishment. So this is the beginning of new foundations as well. New buildings being settled. You know, it's interesting that my building is actually under construction this year. And I don't think that's a coincidence. Again, everything that happens in the world happens also on a personal level. There's reconstructions happening. Tower moments to create something more beautiful and more stable as well. Safer as well. feeling emotionally safe in new situations. And this is the present, the gift that God is giving to us. Look at this beautiful, feminine, beautiful mermaid here. Kind of like a gift, right? Kind of reminds me of the movie The Little Mermaid. And you know how she finds the love of her life, but he's a human and she's a mermaid, right? And she's enchanted by him, and he is like seduced by her in a way because she's just so feminine, so mermaid. And it's like the exchange. This is the key to love, you know. She's holding a key, and it's so interesting that I have a key that I wanted to do something beautiful with that. But this is the key that's going to set us free, that we're going to be able to break free from old cycles, is by owning our value, being in the now, and accepting these treasures that God is bringing. The treasure hunt, right? I'm thinking like, you know, back in 2019, I went to a beautiful ocean with lots of caves that reminded me a lot of like this energy of the treasure chest and what you might discover, right? That the ocean might bring to you from the depths of the ocean, kind of like Atlantis and Lemurian energy coming through as well. You see, energy field adjustment. We're needing to cleanse our aura. Health is kind of coming. But this is also these energy balls that are coming in with these treasure chests. New energy, this new vibration with this new world that's being created and opened up. And it requires a lot of transparency, a lot of honesty, authenticity, genuineness, and again, being in the moment. Beautiful energy. And there are sacrifices to be made. It's about sacrificing, letting go of the old. Those that are worth making, there are those that are worth making, and there are those that will destroy you, right? So what do you need to let go of that are bad habits? Sacrificing your health, sacrificing these gifts that God has given to you. And what do you need to sacrifice that won't even seem like a sacrifice when the blessing is right there, right? So these are just something that you need to think about. Let's bring in the tarot real quick. This is the Crystal Power Tarot. The rose quartz is going to help a lot during this time. Self-love, not being critical of yourself, but seeing yourself through the eyes of love, as you would want your partner to see you, as you would want anybody in the community to see you. See yourself with the eyes of love. This is about being your own parent during these times, and it's what's going to help us to socialize from a healthy state as well, right? Not bringing in these judgments that are self-induced projections. But then once, you know, we treat ourselves with this love that's needed, self-love, self-care, then we can treat others the same. That's what Jesus said. Treat thy neighbor like you would treat yourself. Or should I say, love your neighbor like you would yourself. So that's something that's big this time. The Hierophant in reverse. I am ready to love and learn. This is what we need to open ourselves more to. Learning and expanding our mind, which is Aquarius energy, and even love. This is a higher love as well. I'm thinking the higher heart chakra, which is the teal energy. That's what's coming in, because that's what gives us this ability to love humanity for where they're at as well. Because when we're the leaders in, I want to say, the spiritual community, sometimes we can get frustrated with the collective, and that's not going to work, because in order to relate to the collective, we need to be willing to love unconditionally. Accept them for where they're at and forgive them, for they not know any better, right? That's from the Bible. And just continue to be the key to their own journey. And they're going to find that key eventually. It's just our job to provide the knowledge. And when they want to seek it, they will. There's a lot of people that are out seeking answers, and we are the answer. Page of Cups, you see, this is going to bring us fulfillment, but this is also about communicating from a lighthearted place, a loving place, even a kind of youthful, juvenile energy, which can be more attractive in a way sometimes, right? It doesn't have to be so coming off like standoffish, like, you know, too wise, I guess, that some people might not want to think like, I guess it's what they want to relate to, right? Because again, that's what the people who are asleep is, because they want to keep doing things that are going to make them feel young but ironically is actually making them older, right? Because it's draining their health, it's not making them feel young. So by us being more young and youthful in our approach of communication, it might attract in even more of the collective. So I don't know why God is telling me this, but this might be relevant to you. But I am as young as I choose to feel. This is also how we reclaim our health and wellness, right? Taking care of our health, filling our own cup first, self-love, self-care. And there's the Angel Aura Quartz, which I actually have one right here. I'll bring it up after. And the Amethyst, which is psychic protection, psychic awareness, psychic gifts developing. That's a huge crystal to work with. I love that crystal, the Amethyst. And I have the Rose Quartz in my ring here. And then, I guess, do we need one more? The Three of Swords in reverse, letting go of heartbreaks, letting go of traumas, because that's just no more. You know, we've seen things exactly as they are, and we accept it, and it's okay. It's okay. It no longer bothers us. And that's the beauty of how we can move on. Yeah, now we're in this youthful energy, Page of Wands. We're ready for fire. We're ready for passion. We're ready for desire. Yellow calcite is solar plexus chakra, giving us courage. Again, a lot of tiger energy. I am always open to good news. There is a lot of good news. The sunflower here, bringing in more joy, happiness, and just more ignition to speed things up and go full force towards this new life, this new world, this new direction. And that's a beautiful energy, beautiful way to end today's spiritual talk. We're gonna get ready now for our Sambo healing sessions. If you just give me a little bit of a few minutes, we'll get right back into it. Thank you for watching today. My name is Christy Ramirez, and I'm your health and wellness expert. Namaste. Hello my soul family, welcome to our Sambo healing session for this new moon in Aquarius in February 2022, also celebrating the Chinese New Year of the Water Tiger. My name is Christy Ramirez, and I'm your health and wellness expert. Let us close our eyes to begin this beautiful session to heal our body, mind, and spirit, our soul, our heart, and allow God to cleanse and purify us. Actually, here I also have the Angel Quartz, the Angel Aura Quartz, which is really coming through as we got in the spiritual talk. And this Angel Quartz even connects us to the angelic realms, which I love to do. And the angels are present here. I'm seeing Archangel Gabriel really present with us today, because again, this is so interesting. It's the year of the mission, and Archangel Gabriel is all about bringing the mission, right? He came to Mother Mary telling her that she was about to give birth to the mission, which was Jesus. He is helping us come together for the mission. He is coming to help heal our throat chakra, which is what we express our creative gifts with, right? Through art, whether it's through words, speech, writing, whatever form you express the mission, we're being healed. That's beautiful. So let us receive Archangel Gabriel today, and let us receive these new people that want to come into our life. Let us receive these new open doors, opportunities, golden opportunities, and let us also just surrender and go with the flow as to how it's going to turn out. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. We might be revealed or taught better ways of doing things, which is where we need to stay open-minded. And this is allow yourself to only inhale what is of God, what is going to bring in more light, youthfulness into your life, playfulness, love, light, and just beauty all around, from the inside out. Feeling exhausted or tired, don't want to go anymore, take a deep breath, regain your strength, remember who you are, and know who is your support, which is God himself. God is your rock. God will bring you back to life. Reclaim your joy. Let your spirits rise and elevate your soul. This is how we evolve collectively and consciously into higher dimensions. Recharge as needed. This is where the balance comes in. There's no shame in that. Do more of what you love as well. And just find new ways of loving life, of loving yourself, of loving others. New is the key word. A new you, a new life, a new way, a new world. Everything is new at this moment. And that's what we need to embrace and be excited about, because it's very exciting. And know that eventually it will be comfortable, right? It's like when you're stepping into a new position in your job, or a new career, or a new love relationship. At the beginning it's uncomfortable because it's unknown, but eventually it becomes comfortable after time together, after doing the same thing over and over again, day after day. And that's how we perfect our craft. That's how we master our gifts, our relationships with self, with another, with others. That's how we continue to grow. So keep striving for greatness, because greatness is here. This is the year of gold. This is the year of success. This is the year of triumph. Victory is ours this year. There's a new empire coming up to the surface, and it's just the beginning. We haven't even seen it yet. And that's the suspension of it, right? There's a lot of suspension because we don't know what it is. But it will be revealed, trust that. And we are starting to get those little beginnings or revealings. Sneak peeks, glimpses into the future. And this future is just out of this world. Literally, it's out of this matrix. So let us fly into this new world, just like Aladdin and his magic carpet, right, with Jasmine. Let us fly into this new world, explore the world. The world will be opening up hopefully soon, or if not, there's a new way of exploring the world, because there is the exploring of the world happening. Now again, whether that's online, whether that's actual travel, God will find a way to make it happen. Trust that. I'm a living example of that. Travel has been closed, but I was taken to places where I needed to be, and I was brought home safely, because that's what's happening. That's what's happening. And that's where light workers are being guided to go. Again, the missionary energy that I mentioned a couple retreats back, we are being called into missionary mode. And this is beautiful. This is what's going to bring people together, right? Events. This is how people network. World is opening up, at least for these sort of things. Slowly but surely, we will all get there. So let us just have patience. Let us trust. And let us just have this innate knowing that everything will be okay. Faith is what keeps us going, and faith is what will bring us out alive. And know that everything happens for a reason. God has his reasons. We can never complain. We can never double question God's reasons for either taking people their way, or moving us in different directions, or taking things out of our life, or just changing things. We can't complain, and we can't double ask him. We ask him once, we get the answer, and we accept it. That's it. That's how you learn to trust God, and that's how you develop a closer relationship with God. And that's the only thing that's going to stand during these times, because that's the only thing that is truth. And this is what this new one in Aquarius is bringing in. Truth and revolutionary change to spread more of this truth. Thank you all for joining me in today's Sambo healing session. Such a powerful day today. Thank you, and thank you all for being here to support me, and you're what makes me continue to make it happen, because I know a few of you watch me, and knowing that I'm showing up here for God and for ourselves. We need to learn how to show up for ourselves when others won't, right? We need to be our own best friends during these times, and that's how we create powerful, strong, loyal relationships in the future. Have an amazing and beautiful, beautiful day, and new moon in Aquarius. Namaste. A quick note, make sure to also check out my health and wellness page, my website, christopherramirez.com/health and wellness, to get access to my meditation series, my yoga series, and my holistic nutrition series, which there is a lot of things going on this year for my nutrition page. Juicing recipes, plant-based recipes, baking recipes, all healthy for your health and wellness journey. And if you want to book a session as well, wellness coaching is opened up. So if you need guidance on your wellness journey, how to feel healthier this year, how to reclaim your health, I can help you with that. I have a lot of years in health and wellness. It's my lifestyle. I've taken nutrition courses in graduate school, so I know that I can help you. So check that out. Check out my programs, my Herbology Master Course. I have a yoga therapy program, a mindful meditation program to help to open and activate your third eye chakra, sharpen your intuition, and so much more coming out this new year. Check out my health and wellness blog at christopherramirez.com/blog, and just so much more stuff. Check out my social media page, my Instagram page at christopherramirez_body, mind, and spirit for daily inspiration and motivation, guidance, education, and even research-based tips that I would love to share with you all. Have an amazing and beautiful day. Namaste.